Hey, welcome to Pass or Play. So now we're doing Zatima Season 1, Episode 3, currently streaming on BET Plus. So we open with Gretchen from the SEC, and she is grilling Zach about, you don't know who this lady is? She shows him the photo of, the senator's wife, and Zach's like, I don't know that lady. She looks familiar. I don't know. Maybe I do. She looks familiar, but I can't really recall the face. And then Gretchen pulls out a photo of Zach giving the senator's wife her bag at the airport, which is his job. Now, we do know that Zach is lying. He does know who this lady is, but, Gretchen is like, I got you. And then Zach, like, lady, please, I helped a lot of passengers with their bags. I mean, no, I don't remember this specific lady. There's a lot of ladies that I help. There's a lot of people that I gave bags to at the airport. It was my job. I was supposed to do that. And, you know, again, even though Zach is lying, Gretchen's like, I hate when people are lying. I hate when people are trying to fool me. And Zach, like, I don't know. I've helped a lot of people. And then Gretchen's like, well, did she give you a tip? He's like, I don't know. She said, and then Gretchen's like, well, maybe you were mad that she didn't give you a tip. He said, a lot of people didn't give me a tip. I really don't remember. And, Zach is like, I don't know. I don't know. And then Gretchen's like, no one's ever talked to me like that before. Zach is just standing up for himself. I mean, just because you accuse him of doing something does not mean that he has to just, take your crap or just like take it just as what you're saying is a matter of fact. And even though in this case, yes, Zach is lying, I mean, Gretchen can't necessarily prove that other than that interaction of him giving her that bag, that was the beginning and ending of their, of that so-called meeting. I was doing my job and I gave her the bag that she had lost in upon entering the airport, which is basically what it was. Now, what Gretchen would have to prove is, if she can find if she could find proof that they were at a hotel room, or which is what ended up happening, where she ended up giving Zach the information. If she could find a video of them at the hotel or something in the lobby, then maybe, but she doesn't have proof of that. And basically she says, and then too, Gretchen also says that when they spoke to the senator's wife, she said, she doesn't know Zach. She didn't give him any information. And then so Gretchen basically, like, the investigation is over until she gets more proof. But Gretchen was just kind of like power tripping to an extent. I also feel like that scene, I feel like she was doing a little bit over that particular scene too. I feel like maybe that actress was doing a little bit too much in that scene. Um, but I guess too, Bryce said that she's known to, like, be aggressive, I guess, when she goes after, people who could be lying or, doing underhanded tactics and things. So maybe that's just how she is. But yeah, Zach was like, no, I don't know that lady. And then Gretchen just leaves. And so then we go to Fatima gets home. She's tired. She kind of gives them a kiss, and then Zach massages her feet. She says she ain't mad. She's just tired. Um, and then there's a knock on the door, and the stripper baby mama comes over, with her son, and she wants Zach to pay her for the DNA test. And she also says, I see that you have an apartment, because it's a duplex. It's the house and it's like a duplex. But she's like, I see that you have that for rent sign next door. And my private investigator told me that you own it. You should let me move in next door with you. And, she's got a lot of demands, but no proof. And she's like, she wants them, she wants Zach to pay her for the DNA test. And she's like, he looks like you. And Zach is like, no, he looked like you. He don't look like me. And two, I don't know this lady's name. I mean, maybe they said it in Sisters, but like, I cannot find like what is the lady's name supposed to be. I just call her the the stripper baby mama because they never say her name in this show. So I don't know what this woman's name is, but anyway, I just want to throw that out there because I don't want to be like the stripper baby mama, but like they never say her name. I don't know what this But anyway, so when she comes in too, she asks, Zach, does he want to hold does he want to hold the boy? He's like, no, I see him. But Fatima, says, I want to hold the baby. And she kind of walks off to the side. And, and basically, they're asking about, we want to get DNA. And, the baby mama's like, no, I'm not going to do that until you pay me. And they're like, we're not going to pay you until we actually know that this child is Zach's. And anyway, she leaves because they're not going to give her any money until they get the DNA test results. And once the baby mama leaves, Fatima's like, "Oh, that's okay, Zach," and she pulls like this swab thing outside of the sleeve of her like dress thing, and Fatima like, don't worry, we already got the D. She said, don't worry, we already got the DNA. And Zach is like, yeah, baby. And then she takes the other swab and swabs it around Zach's mouth. And then she says they have a lab in the firm in her firm's office, and it'll take 36 hours to get the test results. So basically they end up getting a DNA test anyway. So while Zach was talking to the baby mama, Fatima was off on the side swabbing the baby anyway. So Fatima's sneaky, but she got his back though. I mean, that's the good thing. She got his back. So then we go to the next scene. We go to um, Zach and Bryce. They go jogging at night. And Zach says, thank you to Bryce. I appreciate you. And they end up stopping in front of this house that Zach wants to flip, and the realtor on the house is this realtor named Valerie. And Bryce says, I know her. I can give her a call and let her know to call you. Um, and Zach's like, this is an up and coming neighborhood. I think this will be a good house to get. And but basically Bryce is like, I'll let Valerie know to call you or to contact you and give you more information. And then Zach too, also he wants to check out the office of Bryce and Daniel, um, because he says he wants to get his own office to be more legit once he actually starts doing this more more frequently, kind of have a business. And so then we go to Fatima is at the hair salon now, and Angela's there. Melinda's there. Belinda's like kind of on her way out, but you have this hairdresser Kyle, who is saying, you've been coming here every week, Fatima, and Zach must be really doing something to you because you ain't usually here that frequently, and two, he's like all in her business about Zach, sleeping with Belinda, and they just kind of all in her business. And then Angela's like, do you, do you think that Belinda, would sleep with Zach? And Fatima like, no, that's my friend. I don't believe that she would do that. That's just a bunch of he said, she said. And Fatima's like, I told Belinda not to be hanging out with Cal, but Cal's like, I can't hold water. You know, Zach slept with Belinda. He's sleeping with you, and he kind of causes a scene with them. But anyway, Cal kind of steps out. Belinda steps out too, and then Fatima and Angela they still continue to get their hair done. And then we go to Bryce. He's showing Zach Gary's office. I said earlier Daniel. I'm sorry, I meant Gary. Zach wanted Bryce to show him Gary's office, to see if there was some other like empty offices that he could rent or whatever. But anyway, so now they're back in Bryce's office, but in Gary's office. But Bryce says if there's nothing to rent in that building, but he can call Valerie, she could probably help him find a cheaper office space. And then so now Zach gets home and he runs. So now Zach gets home after he's left Bryce. And as he's getting out of the car, another car drives up and he sees this woman get out and she's like taking pictures of the outside of his like for rent sign in the building next door that he has for rent. And she's taking photos of his property, and she says Bryce sent me, my name is Valerie, and Zach is like, nice to meet you. And she asks Zach, can she go inside and look around? But they don't go into the for rent. They go into his actual apartment with Fatima, and she's like looking around. She said, "This is really nice. This is a good neighborhood." And she says, "This looks really modern," and that she could get him like 1.5 million for for his house in that area. And he's like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then Zach lets Val know that he wants to flip houses, and he likes one of her listings. And she gives him her card and she says she'll send him a list of of her other properties, and see if he's interested in flipping some of those as well. And then as Valerie is leaving, Belinda comes in walking in the door, and they're like kind of in front of each other, and Belinda's like, excuse me, who are you? And Zach is like, bye Val, I'll talk to you later. And Val leaves. And then, Zach like, Belinda, Fatima's not here. And Belinda like, I know she's getting her hair done at the salon. I know she's not here. And then she's like eyeing Zach, looking down at his crotch. And she's like flicking her hair. And, Zach like, you can talk to Fatima outside when she get back. And Belinda like, I know you like to fuck. She rips open her shirt, and like her breasts, well, I mean, she has on a bra, but her breast is out. And she basically like jumps on Zach, and she's trying to kiss him. She's like, she got her legs wrapped around his waist, and he's like, get off me, are you serious right now, are you crazy? And she has Zach on the couch. He gets her up, and she's like clinging to him, and he's like holding his head back, and she's got her arms and her legs wrapped around his body. And he kind of like throws her off of him a little bit. And then he gets kind of like on the other side of like the table, and they're just kind of like running around the table. He's trying to keep his distance from her. And and they're just kind of basically running around the tables, running around the couch. He's just basically trying to keep position. She's like, baby, I like this game. He goes upstairs, and he's like, don't follow me upstairs. If you follow me upstairs, I'm going to push you down the stairs. I think he was trying to go to like the bathroom or something to like basically, you know, put himself on the other side of the door. And as he goes upstairs and Belinda's following him, he sees Fatima is sitting on the bed looking pissed off. And she's just sitting there. And, at this point, it's like she heard everything. Okay, so now we're going to do episode 4. I wasn't sure if I had enough time. Okay, so we're going to do episode 4. And so now it gets interesting. So Belinda gets upstairs and she sees Fatima and she says, girl, I can explain. It's not what it looks like. She starts buttoning up her shirt. And I'm just trying to figure out, how did Fatima get upstairs? I'm like, how did she even get in the house? She like a ninja. She must have climbed up the like the side of the house or something. I'm not even sure, but Belinda's like, I was testing Zach to see if he would, push up on me because he low down, he's trifling. And then Fatima like, did he push up on you, Belinda? Belinda's like, no. Belinda's like, you know how he is. And then Belinda was like, I was gonna come back to the salon and tell you, and she's like, it usually takes you about 2 hours when you get your hair done. So Fatima like, so you timed it out, and then Zach tells Belinda to go, and he's like, I'm trying to save you because Fatima's getting angry. Like Fatima was upstairs and heard the whole thing. So you know, Belinda keeps, she keeps calling Belinda keeps calling Zach like a trifling ass N word. And then, Zach is like, Fatima, calm down. And Fatima tries to, get her purse because, she carries a gun. And, Zach is like, Belinda, you need to go, you need to go. And he's trying to as he's trying to hold the purse away from Fatima, she ends up reaching in and getting the gun, and she ends up shooting the gun in between Zach and Belinda, and they both fall on the floor. And then Fatima like, no, bitch, what were you saying about us being friends? Belinda like, what you doing? We've been friends our whole life. And Zach is like holding Fatima back with the gun and telling Belinda she needs to leave, she needs to go. And Belinda leaves, and then Zach has to like push Fatima on the bed. And he's like, let the gun go, let the gun go. You need to stop, you need to let it go, you need to stop. And Fatima's like crying on the bed, and he's kind of consoling her, and she's like, she's crying, and she's like, I can't stand that bitch. It's crazy. Okay, so that whole scene was crazy. And and well, actually, I'll wait till we go to this. So then we go to Angela. It's later that night, and Angela shows up, knocking on the door, asking to see Fatima, and Zach is like, she sleep, and Angela's like, Belinda told me what happened. And like Zach is like, did she tell you the truth? Because Belinda broke Fatima's heart, and Angela starts yelling Fatima, and Fatima says, Zach, let her up, upstairs. And also too, Angela was like, I don't want you, you're not my type. And Zach like, okay. At this point too, Bryce is also there. So Angela was like, you could talk to Bryce. So Bryce comes in, and, he says, you want to talk. So Bryce and Zach, they go outside and have some beers while Angela and Fatima's talking upstairs. And Angela and Fatima's talking. Fatima's like, no, Belinda made a pass at Zach, not the other way around. I was upstairs, I heard the whole thing. He was trying to fight her off. He was, trying to get away from her. That's why I left the salon early. She did it when I wasn't here. And Fatima's like, too, if she was really trying to test to see if Zach would cheat, why wouldn't she let me know? Why wouldn't she tell me what her plan was instead of just doing it behind my back? No, she said, Belinda's dead to her, and Angela's like, Belinda sounded real convincing, but Fatima like, no, Belinda was the one who started this, not Zach. Zach was trying to get away from her. And it seems like, Angela's like really nice. So she's giving Belinda the benefit of the doubt. And Fatima's like, no, that girl dead to me. She ain't my friend. A friend wouldn't do that. And Fatima starts crying a little bit with Angela, because she's hurt, because this is somebody that's supposed to be her friend, And the same, and Fatima tells, Angela that Belinda tried to feed her that BS too. But like, if that's what you were trying to do, then you would have told Fatima. You just wouldn't do that behind somebody's back. So, now we go outside, and Bryce, we go outside to Bryce and Zach, and they're talking. And Bryce, is like, he didn't believe Belinda either. She went over, she said that she went over to Zach's house. He said it just didn't sound right. Angela's really nice again too, but Bryce is like, I just didn't believe her. And then, Bryce is like, you two have to be careful. You don't want to get yourself in any trouble. He also looked nervous too because, Zach is like, Angela may have a gun too, for protection. So you got to be careful. Some of these girls, they may be a little crazy and whatnot. And Bryce kind of looks scared a little bit. But yeah, but Bryce is like, y'all need to fix that. Don't fuck up things for yourself, basically. And then we go back inside. Bryce and Zach is coming back inside. Angela's coming down the stairs, and she apologizes to Zach for misjudging the situation. And then Zach goes upstairs, um, and he ends up consoling Fatima. She's crying, and then Zach like, you gotta promise me you'll stop pulling guns out on people when you angry. And Fatima like, I'll try. I promise I can't. Um, and then Zach, And then Zach is like, "How did you get up here?" And Fatima like, "The window." She's like, "I grew." She said, "I grow wings when I get mad," and that's how she got up. She climbed up the window. He's like, "But this is the second floor," and she's like, "Yeah." And then they both say that they got to do better, and Zach is still holding Fatima in the bed, and he's kind of basically consoling her. And then so we're going to the next morning. Valerie calls Zach and she lets him know that, there's a lady who wants to look at the duplex next door for rent. Fatima comes down and she's getting ready to go for a run, and Zach is making breakfast, but Fatima's like, I just want to go for a run. I said, I can't go on a vacation, so I got to go on a run. And Zach is like, well, if you want to go on vacation, we can go to Florida. And then Fatima's like, no, I want to go either to the south of France or the Bahamas. And Zach is like, well, he's like, when did you become so bougie? And she said, I've always been bougie. And and then Zach is like, I can't get a passport because I have a record. They won't let me get a passport because I have a record. And she said, yeah, I forgot about that. And Zach like, but we can go to Florida. She said, or you can, send me to wherever I want to go, and I'll see you when I get back. And he like, that's bogus. And so instead of eating, they go jogging in the morning or whatever in the park. And Fatima runs into Ian, which is the guy, that from Sisters. This was the guy that she was dating, who she loved, who ended up breaking up with her and then getting married to another woman. And when she runs into Ian, Ian's like, I'm sorry, I still love you. And she's like, you left me and married me for another woman. And then, he's like, I kick myself every day for letting you go. Please let me take you to dinner and explain. And then Ian tells Fatima that him and that girl, they're not together anymore. And Fatima was like, I knew it, but I can't go to dinner with you because, my man wouldn't like that. And Fatima is running ahead of Zach because she's just faster. And Zach is like, he's holding his back and all this stuff. He's in pain, he's getting old, basically. And Fatima, she's like, I can't go to dinner with you because my man wouldn't like that. That's when Zach comes up to Fatima and Ian, and Zach, he's like, you know, um, Fatima's like, Zach, this is Ian. Remember I was telling you about the guy who, left me and got married the next week? And Zach is like, yeah. And then Fatima's like, this is him, this is Ian. And, Zach is like, thank you, your loss is my gain. And, Fatima's like, Ian wants to take me out for dinner. Zach like, no, we're not doing that. And then they both say, no, we're not doing that. And, and then Zach smacks Fatima's butt, and he said, that's all mine. And then Fatima starts running. She's like, bye, bitch. And Zach, and they both run off, and Ian is just standing there looking stupid. And so then the next scene is Bryce shows Zach this office space that is like fully furnished. It has like three offices in it, and he lets Zach know that it has a sublease for $3,600 a month. And he says, you have an office, you can have an office for your assistant. And he says, if you're going to do, if you're going to do this real estate and stock game, let's be partners. I have 1.2 million I can put in with you. I'm still going to work with Gary, but I can work with you part time. You have an office, you get an office, I get an office, and maybe we have an assistant, And then Zach picks up Bryce, and and Hubs he picks up Bryce and like swings him around, and he said, "Okay, 1,800 is better than 3,600," and basically they're gonna split the cost. Um, and then Zach says that they can call it Rise Ventures. And then two earlier, I can't remember, was it episode? It was either Fatima had said it again. She said there's just something about Bryce that she doesn't trust. I do hope that Bryce is decent and he's not trying to do anything slippery with Zach, because Zach is trying to be on the up and narrow and trying to get his life together. So hopefully Bryce is, he's who he seems to be, and he's not going to like screw over Zach in some kind of way or form. So hopefully, Zach going to business with Bryce will hopefully be beneficial and not end up screwing him over somehow. Um, and then we go to then we go to Fatima's job. Angela shows up and basically, Fatima lets Angela know that she ran into Ian, and she said all these feelings kind of came back, and she just wasn't expecting that. She thought that she was over Ian, but she has all these, these like feelings that kind of that kind of took her over. And, Angela's like, well, you have to tell Zach how you feel. And, Fatima's like, Ian wants to meet for dinner. And Angela's like, well, just tell Zach, if you two are as strong as you say you are, then if you need closure, then basically just let Zach know that you may need more closure, and you want to shut this thing and kind of get over it with Ian. Just let Zach know. And there was a scene earlier too where Zach was talking to Bryce at the office that they're going to like sublease, and he said, he had a feeling that he could see that Fatima was looking at Ian a way where it looks like feelings were kind of coming up, and he could see that. And Bryce had kind of said, well, it could also be what just happened last night with Belinda, but either way, Angela leaves, and then as Angela leaves, Fatima sees that Ian is sitting on the couch in like the waiting room of the firm, and Ian comes up to Fatima, and she's like, I blocked you. I don't want to talk to you. And Ian's like, I have cancer, stage 4, and he said he wants to make it right with the people he's hurt, and he's hurt Fatima the most. And will Fatima have dinner with him? And Fatima's like, I'm sorry to hear that. Nobody deserves cancer. And then Fatima says she won't meet him for dinner, but they can meet for coffee. And then Fatima, she goes back to her office and she starts to cry, and then that's how episode 4 ends. So 3 and 4 were like really good. 1 and 2 were like, oh, okay. I mean, it kind of set the season off, but 3 and 4 was really good. And Belinda is kind of really foul for doing that. She's supposed to be Fatima's best friend. I don't know what it is about Zach. Zach be making these women go crazy. So he really got that vitamin D, which is what Tyler Perry does at his plays. But yeah, he be making people go crazy. So yeah, I don't really see how Fatima and Belinda. I mean, I don't see how Fatima is going to come back with Belinda and all that. Because she was there and she heard everything. It's just like, no, you were trying to sleep with Zach. You weren't trying to test him. But okay, if that's what you want to call it. But and then again, hopefully Bryce is on the up and up. He's not, doing anything slippery with either Gary or, trying to do any kind of undermining thing. Hopefully he's legit and he really wants to, see Zach win and all that. But other than that, let me know what you think. Comment below if you like this review of Zatima episodes 3 and 4. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. And I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers hopefully by the end of the year. So, all right, thank you, and see you next time.